Yes. We are back as ASL Sports Media to go through the possible lineup of Manchester United against Manchester City this weekend. Premier League is coming back, and Manchester United is traveling to City of Manchester Stadium to play against Manchester City. When you look at the fixture comes as Manchester United is on struggling end. However, Manchester City, they are now picking up their form we used to know as Manchester City winding up season. Looks to be a very dangerous club in English football, if not the world football. But in Brazil, we say that football is malacado. Anything can happen in football at any time, at any cost. Anything can happen. We don't need to worry about Manchester City. United has all what it takes to win against Manchester City. However, the game will not be that easy. But under the management of Erik ten Hag, I think he can provide that tactical works, and that implementation of that tactical works can be used by United players to win against Manchester City. The game is over this weekend. That will be Sunday. Manchester United will be playing against Manchester City. That will be 18. That will be Sunday. This weekend, Manchester United will be visiting Manchester City. That is 3rd of March 2024. That is East African Standard Time. That will be 18:30. Okay, let's go direct to our possible lineup to play against Manchester City. In the goal, as United looks to be using one goalkeeper, and as of now, no one can blame Erik ten Hag to be choosing this one goalkeeper, as at first United fans were shouting to Erik ten Hag to be giving Ataya Bayindir some chances to be playing in Manchester United post. But that one chance that was given to a man from Turkey showed that this guy lacks a number of characteristics to be playing or to be starting in Manchester United goalposts. And this comes as Andre Onana is now trying to produce that goalkeeping skills which is needed by a United goalkeeper. I think Andre Onana will remain in our goalposts in the game against Manchester City, and the back line will remain 4 players playing from the back, and from the right flank or from the right full back position there is only one player to be selected from that position, is none other than on form player is Diego Dalot to be playing from that position. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is still sidelined. I don't know when this guy will come back, but according to sources from Manchester United, the guy is still injured and hopefully will come back before this season ends. But as of now, Diego Dalot is the only player available to be selected and will be used in the game against Manchester City. The left fullback position, that's where United has a number of problems this season, because when you look at the beginning of the season, Luke Shaw was injured and he took some time without playing, and Taylor Malacia this season has never played any game in the shirt of Manchester United because of injuries. And the player which was brought to Hope United was released in the transfer of January, and they let him to go back to his permanent club Tottenham Hotspur, where he was loaned again to Team Brentford. As it stands, United has no that typical left full back, and hopefully they will use the same guy who played against Nottingham Forest in the names of Sofian Amrabat. This was a little bit tactical. I don't think that Erik ten Hag will repeat this, but due to the high demand of this position, I think Sofian Amrabat will again come in to play against Manchester City due to his physicality. I think he is the best option to play against Manchester City. In the center back positions, Harry Maguire may not be playing this game, but as it stands, he's injured. But if the game comes when he's fit to play, he will be playing. But as I'm predicting this lineup, he's still injured, and sources coming from England, coming from Manchester United, is more likely not to play this game. This means the partnership will remain Rafael Varane playing alongside either Victor Nelson-Lindelof or a man from Irish in the names of John Evans. But when you look at these three players, Victor Lindelof will be a best option, but is more slow, and he has not been playing alongside any of these two players. So, and in this game you need those players who know each other, and Rafael Varane at one point was playing alongside John Evans, and I think the partnership will be that fine to produce that experience against players like Erling Braut Haaland, Philip Foden. I think the experience will be mattering this occasion, and Rafael Varane will be playing alongside John Evans, as Victor Lindelof will be on the bench waiting where he will be needed to participate in this game. In the midfield, I will be using a system of 4-3-3. Even though that United is more likely to be using a system of 4-2-3-1, but according to ASL Sports Media, I think United this time around they need to be using a system of 4-3-3, and this system will be more defensive. When you look at United as it stands, they have no that team that can defeat Manchester United in normal ways. United to beat Manchester City, they need to be more tactical, more physical, and more counter-attacking team. And to do this, you need a number of players in the midfield which can provide both defensive and both offensive. And here comes my options is Kobbie Mainoo to be playing as the holding midfielder ahead of Carlos Enrique Casemiro. Carlos Enrique Casemiro is a good player defensively, but when you look at the performances of recent games we played, Kobbie Mainoo is more efficient player to be playing against Manchester City. The player is still young, but be it he's lucky or he's unlucky, he has come into Manchester United squad where in the time where United squad needs a player like Kobbie Mainoo. And I think even though that the game looks to be a big game compared to the age of Kobbie Mainoo, still I think I opt for him to be starting in this lineup against Manchester City. He'll be playing against Carlos Enrique Casemiro and Bruno Miguel Fernandes in the system of 4-3-3. These midfielders, I think they will be playing more defensive works but at the same point they have to be in position to play those long balls from the midfield towards the far ends of the field, as they will be searching players from the left flank of the field and players from the right flank of the field. From the right flank of the field, I think Anthony Santos from Brazil, a man who was subbed off in the game against Nottingham Forest, and he was not as happy as any other player can be. But in this game, I think is the only option to be playing from that flank of the field, as Alejandro Garnacho will be used playing from the left flank of the field, and Marcus Rashford will be playing centrally. And when you look at Marcus Rashford, how he's playing nowadays is not as good as we need, but this might be as a result of tactical performances, because when you look at this player who always plays centrally in Manchester United matches, that player requires to do a number of things which is not at all Marcus Rashford's best. We always know that Marcus Rashford is that player who always uses space, and he will never get space when he's playing centrally. But again, he's the only player who can be playing centrally when you look at the available players in Manchester United squad. Anthony Jordan Marshall is injured, Rasmus Højlund is injured, and the rest of the players are not as good to be playing centrally. The best player or the best option to be playing centrally in this game is Marcus Rashford. Hopefully he will produce some good performance as he used to do, to produce some good performance in big games like Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal. This is the guy who usually scores some fantastic goals when we are playing against best teams in the Premier League, and I think he can do it in the game against Manchester City. The prediction of the game, I think United has all what it takes to defeat Manchester City. When you look at the players, one may say that Manchester City is far better than Manchester United, but don't forget, this is Manchester derby, and in derbies anything can happen at any time, at any cost. In Brazil we always say that football is maracado. Anything can happen, anything can happen, and there is no any law, there is no any law which is acting against Manchester United to win against Manchester City, and it has been done. You just need to remember, during the era of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we used to win this Manchester City at Etihad Stadium like Old Trafford, and this is the right time for Manchester United to show. This is the time for Erik ten Hag to show that he can do something, because when you look at when Manchester United is playing against the teams you may call small teams in Premier League, tactically he has failed to beat these teams, because we always need that individual brilliance to win these games. You just need to remember the game against Wolves. We needed that brilliance of Kobbie Mainoo to win that game, but tactically things were not working out. This is the same thing as we are going to be playing Manchester City. For them, they will be playing tactically. They will be playing tactically. This is the time where Erik ten Hag has to show that he can follow. He can be following tactical. He can be following tactics of Pep Guardiola, and he tries to defeat this man tactically. And I know he can do it. Let's just wait for the game. But hopefully, I think United can win this game with a margin of 1 goal. A game can be 2-1, and I don't think United has that capacity of scoring 3 goals and above, but defensively they can at least try to control Manchester City. I think it is not as simple to control Manchester City, but United can, because when you look at the experience of Rafael Varane and John Evans, they can produce that good performance against Manchester City, and they can defeat them tactically. And I think this has been quite a big this has been quite a good conversation to you, and if you feel like this conversation is good, please bang that up thumb and don't forget to subscribe.